The first part of the solution to a separation of corporation and state is a complete ban on corporate support for political parties and a lot more. Remember that in this video series, when we say corporation, we're referring to all organizations. And when we say political party, we are referring to not only political parties, but independents and candidates and people who help political parties. They're broad, catch-all terms, so we don't have to repeat all these different individuals and organizations every time. The corporate ban on support for political parties must include all financial and non-financial forms of support. Financial support can mean things like loans, donations, speaking fees. It can also be when corporations pay lobby firms to further their corporate interests. Non-financial forms of support can be things like giving free advertising or promotion to an organization or party, or using mass media owned by corporations to favor a particular political party. It can be the use of facilities or transportation or services. The ban must include all kinds of gifts. This could be tickets, holidays, home renovations, you name it. They've tried everything. Very importantly, the ban must be broad enough to prevent pretending to have public support. This can mean things like astroturfing or computational propaganda, which are fun terms that you should look up. It can mean supporting think tanks. The ban obviously has to include all kinds of support from overseas as well. Basically, the ban must be complete on all forms of direct and indirect support, financial and non-financial, of political parties. There could be no exceptions because these exceptions will become loopholes. An absolute ban makes it easier to judge when the ban's been breached. We don't have to worry about whether it meets the certain criteria for one exception or another. There are no exceptions. We simply have to determine if a corporation sought to benefit a political party or even all political parties to get favor with them. We also have to ban corporate support of pretty much every other kind of organization. The only exception would be industry groups like trade associations or peak bodies. It's okay if they are supported by the corporations that they are actually set up to serve. But these industry groups cannot be allowed to manipulate politics. Corporate support of any other kind of organizations is a conflict of interest. For example, when corporations donate money to universities or think tanks, that then go on to produce questionable or biased research that happens to support corporate interests, or when corporations donate to non-profit or non-governmental organizations and co-opt them to further corporate interests in some way. Corporations often support non-government organizations in order to foster the appearance of grassroots support for something the corporation wants. This creates a manipulated appearance of public support where there actually isn't any. Corporations will donate to charities not only to decrease their taxes, but also to make those charities do what the corporations want. Corporations also donate to charities, foundations, and trusts to make those organizations dependent upon corporate money, and once they're dependent, those organizations are less likely to criticize corporations or do things that are undesirable. So corporations get to reduce their taxes while also controlling large segments of the non-profit, non-governmental sector. This all results in a manipulation of public opinion and public decision-making. So we must ban all forms of corporate support of other kinds of organizations in addition to preventing corporations from supporting political parties. Corporations do have valid concerns that we may want politicians to hear, of course. But how do we achieve this without corrupting the political process? One option is to create transparent advisory bodies. These bodies would allow corporations to express their interests and needs to public decision makers without having the corrupting influence of money. The advisory bodies would be completely transparent to the public. We don't want to block corporations entirely. This would have unintended negative consequences on society. When we're making decisions, we need to hear from all stakeholders, and corporations often are an important stakeholder. But the advisory bodies need to be open to all kinds of organizations, not just for-profit corporations. They also need to be open to anyone affected by the decision or any industry or sector that's affected. Corporations will still hold important positions in society as creators of jobs and as drivers of economic activity. Politicians are going to want to listen to them. Voters' lives are affected by the success of corporations. Politicians will want to be seen to be consulting corporations. What we don't want, though, is corporations manipulating politicians by giving them lots of money behind closed doors. That's why advisory bodies have to be completely transparent to the public. Democracy is for people, not corporations.